Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre, and today I want to talk about ambivalence because it's a barrier to recovery that I don't often hear people talking about. So, I think to the average person, ambivalence means you don't care one way or the other, but it can also mean that you want something, but you're not necessarily ready or willing or able to pursue it. And so, there's the expression of being on the fence is the best meaning, I think, for ambivalence. And as an addictions counselor, as a recovery ally, I run into ambivalence frequently, and I am a huge fan of using motivational interviewing. And I recommend that to counselors, but I also recommend it to lay people. It's something that you can read about online. It's a very effective way to empower a person and help them explore their own options, their own ideas about what needs to change in their life and how they can best go about that. I appreciate it because it's really the only approach that truly treats the person as an expert in themselves and their own lives. And so that's why I use it. Ambivalence is oftentimes it feels like a safe place to stay because we're people who are afraid of change. We're people who, without even meaning to, we maintain status quo because it feels easier. And in the short term, it often is. But in the long term, it usually comes at a cost. And whether that means that we're continuing to use or drink, or maybe it just means that we're not facing certain fears. We're people who are very resistant to change and to new things. And my experience is that resistance is almost always fear. So I encourage people to take a look at what is the cost of not changing? What is the cost of staying the same? And is it really the desirable outcome? Is it really what you want in the long term? Or can we maybe weigh some pros and cons? When I'm talking to folks who are ambivalent, I've been joking for years that I'm going to buy a set of scales and we're going to weigh out the pros and cons of any given course of action or choice and decide, maybe with a visual cue, what that looks like. And maybe that's what it takes to help us get off the fence and into action. As my friends in 12-step programs say, at some point we have to get out of the problem and into the solution. And as long as we're staying in a place of ambivalence, we're usually stuck. We're usually avoidant. Maybe we think about things, but we don't really move beyond thinking about them. We don't involve other people in the process. We don't necessarily get other people's insights or ideas or learn from what worked for them. We just kind of stay doing what we do, and that is incredibly common. Uh, it's something that I, excuse me, would encourage you to take a look at, maybe do some journaling on. What I've learned for myself is that as long as the idea or the possibility only exists within my mind, I'm not going to act on it. I have to bring it out into the open, explore it. I remind myself that I don't have to face my fears alone, and quite often, the things and the challenges that scare me are also the things that make me feel most alive. So I don't want to go from one extreme to the other. Sometimes we hesitate and overthink things, and then we rush into doing something that we've been delaying or procrastinating for a long time. I think we need a balance. We need to make some solid plans and have a lot of accountability for those plans because otherwise they're just going to stay ideas and not necessarily things that we embrace or embody. So I invite you to take a look at your life today. What are the changes or the improvements that you've been procrastinating? What are the opportunities, even in this time of pandemic? What are the changes that you want to make in yourself? How could you be healthier? How could you improve your quality of life? And what are the challenges that you might need some support on before undertaking them? Please give a like to the video. Please share with friends and family so we can keep expanding these conversations. And please write to me. I would love to hear your questions or suggestions. Jim@sobernow.com is how you reach me. Please take excellent care of yourself and God bless.